So Elliot Anderson to Man City is a here we go. Anderson set to undertake his medical. Welcome to your Breaking Forest news. Hi guys, hope you're doing well. Welcome to your latest Forest news. Coming up, I'm going to bring you up to date in the crazy hour that's just happened at Forest about Anderson. What's happened? It's gone from new offer to here we go. I'll bring you all up to speed. Make sure you've liked, make sure you subscribe, make sure you're following as well. Check out OK Jerseys. Get your football shirts for £15 and for a limited time only an extra 15% off if you use code FFTV. 15. Link is in the description, so go check it out or scan the QR code. Okay, let's jump into this news because it's been crazy, guys. Right, so within the last hour, things have moved very, very rapidly in the world of Forest, in the world of Elliot Anderson. It came out from Ben Jacobs, Romano, and from Ornstein to say that Man City have put a new bid in after a lot of negotiations have happened directly with Marinakis. Ornstein was saying the deal was close. And then literally a couple of minutes ago, Romano has tweeted the here we go. Let me do it in the timeline. So starting with Ornstein. Ornstein said, breaking news, Man City strike agreement with Nottingham Forest to sign Elliot Anderson. Man City made the 23-year-old Forest midfielder primary target to bolster their summer, and now deal done, subject to the England international finalising personal terms. Interesting that. How many times have I heard, oh, personal terms were agreed 3 years ago between Elliot Anderson and Man City? Shock horror. And then in the last few minutes, it's been broken by Romano to say breaking Elliot Anderson to Man City is a here we go. Deal in place between the clubs. Fee is up to £130 million. Man City sources confirm agreement now done after talks at final stages as reported last week. Anderson asked Forest today to go and leave the club. Medical will happen in the USA. And then that's been followed up as well, just to give you all the kind of headlines on it. Ben Jacobs has said Anderson has been given permission to undergo a medical while on England duty. The move to Man City will now be formalised during the World Cup. Agreement reached within the last hour. Negotiations handled directly by Marinakis on Forest's behalf. So a lot to absorb and kind of break down there. Elliot Anderson will be going to Man City for a record deal of up to £130 million. Now, what we don't know for sure is what the breakdown of that is, how much of that is cash up front, how much is add-ons, etc., etc. What we do know is that Marinakis got his way, and this will go down as a record fee. It goes further than the Isak fee of last summer, and Elliot Anderson will join Man City. Now, a few questions need to be asked about where are we with the 115? Has Elliot Anderson been given assurances that he won't be playing Derby next season, for example? That is still a question I think needs to be answered. We were hearing, weeks ago, if not months ago, the 115 is about to be announced, closer than close can be, and what have you. Nothing's happened then. But that's a Man City problem, not a Forest problem. The Forest problem is, how do we replace Elliot Anderson? This is a massive hole that's going to be left in the midfield. And I still stand on business to say that you cannot replace Elliot Anderson. He's that good a player that unless you get yourself a Thuram and a couple of other players who maybe or have the potential to do it, there's talk of Bergvall. We'll give you a further update on that in a separate video. These are still not Elliot Anderson players who can guarantee you what you were getting with Elliot Anderson. We've seen in the 2 World Cup games, I think he's played very well in both of them, especially in the first one. Dictated played for England, and I thought he had a really good performance, again, even though England were poor in their second match. So, does this one hurt? It doesn't hurt so much as I think it's the way Anderson's conducted himself for me on this one. He's not publicly looked for a move. He's not publicly forced his way out. There wasn't the whole shenanigans that we saw last summer with Gibbs White and Spurs, for example. Elliot Anderson has kind of conducted this transfer the same way he's conducted his business at Forest. quiet off the pitch and lets his football do the talking. So I let, for me, I say, okay, you go with not so much my blessings, but I understand it. At least Forest can sit there and look at it and see the business they've done on this. This is a guy that we spent £13 million on, 1-3, and Forest have added an extra 0 to what they spent on him only a couple of seasons ago. From a business perspective, there is absolutely no arguments whatsoever with this deal. This deal probably goes down as one of the best returns on investment you have ever seen in football. I struggle to think of a better one. But in terms of what we're trying to do as a club, this doesn't really sit too well with me. I understand £130 million probably pays for half of the bloody stadium upgrade, which, by the way, where are we with that? £130 million can strengthen the squad in other departments. But this is now where I put the ball back into Forest court, Marinakis court, the recruitment court and everything else, and say to them, okay, you've got £130 million. We weren't even under PSR pressure, or as obviously the terminologies and stuff are changing in July. So if you've got this war chest now and we had money to spend, in spite of selling Anderson, do not let me see a summer where we're buying some players who are potential players or players that, half the fan base have never heard of before and what have you. Let's start to build a proper squad, because let's not forget, Marinakis has made us promises about trophies, about Forest being back where they belong and everything else. I do not want this club to turn into a selling club. I understand business is business and it needs to be done. But also, Marinakis has to stand on his business and make sure he delivers what he promises. Now, Marinakis obviously has pushed Forest into realms that, if we sat here 5-6 years ago, you'd be thinking, really? What kind of cuckoo land are you living in now? But I do not want to see players coming to Forest to replace Anderson who are just potential. That's my worry with where this goes. Without European football next season, it's not going to be easy to replace Anderson. This is why I was still adamant that offer 200 million, I still wouldn't sell him, because we know what we're getting for him. But Anderson is gone, subject to medical. Now that medical will happen in the USA out while he's on international duty. Again, something I don't fully agree with. Anderson should be focusing on the World Cup right now, not kind of having his head spun by medicals and, agent calls and Man City and what have you. And he needs to focus on what he's doing for England. But in terms of Forest, we've now got a war chest. And the other problem this causes is the fact that people know this isn't a secret. I'm not breaking some news that's, in Fort Knox. That's a full secret here. Forest have £130 million potentially, or there or thereabouts, to now spend. Suddenly every player that Forest want to buy has an Anderson tax put on them. Again, I would have said that Forest needed to have done the business to replace Anderson before selling Anderson because of this tax that was going to come with him. But we will see. Look, I still fully trust in Marinakis. I still fully expect him to get things done. And let's see where we go with the replacement. So I'm not happy Anderson is gone, but I will judge my opinion based on what we replace him with, because football is a cyclical game. Players will come and go. But let's see what replaces it. Get your thoughts in the comments down below. And by the way, happy birthday to Lefty and Hazardous as well as his birthday. So shout out to you boys. I didn't forget. And for the rest of you, make sure you've liked, make sure you're subscribed. Let me know how you're feeling on Anderson in the comments down below. And we'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.